Match the words below with the conjunctions in the column. Now use these conjunctions to connect the ideas coming from the phrases from numbers 1 to 5. Okay, we have here. Along with alternative. Another thing is to add up new idea. Alternatively is like the other way around. Along with, it's like it comes with, okay? As well as it's like the same as and. Instead, it's like referring to another idea, okay? In the end, it's given already. On the grounds that, on the other hand, or since. Okay, please use the conjunctions from column B, from the column B. Here, column B. Alright, I'll give you the answers now. Along with is the same with and. Okay, alternatively is or. And then another thing is and, as well as and. And for instead, it's or. And in the end, so. So on the other hand, because. On the other hand, but. And then since, it's because. Could you write it down? It's very useful. Finish. This is very useful. You could use these. Now, for activity 3, please use the words coming from activity 3, C, okay? Use it in letter D. Here are the example along with the same as and, okay? Do it now. D. please check your answers now. Here are the given answers for each of these. Now, I know that recycling is something we should all be concerned with. On the other hand, it can be so time consuming and difficult to do. Number two, many people recycle by choice. So in some areas, the government enforces recycling instead. I imagine there are lots of companies that don't bother to make their products biodegradable. On the grounds or since you could use those because, okay, it costs too much money. There are many ways to be more environmentally aware. You can limit the amount of waste you throw away. Alternatively, you can buy fewer things in the first place. One issue we need to think about recycling and waste. Another thing we should be concerned about is using our limited fuel resources. Alright, these are very useful things for the speaking in order for you to make your answer much more longer. Now everybody, I'd like you to do the task practice. Read the questions below and think of ways how you create full answer by using the conjunctions. Okay? The conjunctions and phrases. These and also here in letter B. In activity B. Now, conjunctions and use phrases and add further ideas for your answer. I'll be calling names randomly and give examples as well. I'll give you only 2 minutes to think about it. Use the the conjunctions. One minute more. Alright, let's start the answering the questions. Yeah. Let's start with Alisa.
Alisa, should recycling be voluntarily or mandatory? Give example as well. Should recycling be voluntarily or mandatory?
thì recycling here volunteer
Should be.
should be voluntary.
Voluntarily.
Các recycling will make the life of people become more better.
More better. That's much more and better. This is better.
And make the environment to more clean. And can save the energy.
Okay. Is that it? You were not able to use some of the conjunctions that were given and phrases in the activity. I'll be back to you. Sandra, I'll be back. You need to use the conjunctions and the other phrases. Sandra, do you think is it better to recycle or limit consumption? Is it better to recycle or limit consumptions?
Have reduced the amount of water we produce. Moreover, uh, moreover, recycle savers natural resources and energy, which is really important for protecting the environment.
Example. Don't wait for me to ask you for example. You need to give me an example. You say recycling is better than limit the consumption. Why is that? Could you give an example for that to support your argument or your opinion? Give an example. Very easy. You said already recycling is better than limit the consumption. Why? How? Still using your phone. Only able to learn. It's much more easier for you to use basic vocabs if you cannot use basic vocabs. I'll tell you honestly, if you use basic vocabs, you'll be able to get a low band score. If that's your goal, but if you want bigger band score, it's much more better, or it's better to use wide range of vocabularies or try to work on your basic grammar structure, because if you keep using your phones, by then, I don't know, if you'll be facing the interviewer, you cannot use your phone anymore. Might as well, here in class, you practice your basic vocabs and basic grammar structures.
it's better to use basic if you know them how to use them. And if you cannot, I just don't know. Up until now, you're not practicing. You're just copying ideas coming from the internet. Skylar, I'll get back to you, Sandra. You need to give example. And Elisa. Skylar, in what ways can people save or reuse resources?
The first one, people can use the renewable.
Can you first direct answer? Don't forget that in speaking part 3 you need to direct answer. You'll proceed to the ways. First, you do not answer like that in speaking part 3 first. How do you answer that in direct answer?
The way people can.
Is that how you answer that? There are so many ways on how people, okay, to save resources. First, okay, you proceed to first. That are the ways, okay? Direct answer first. In what ways can people reuse or save resources?
There are many ways for people can save or reuse resources. The first, people can use renewable resources to product the energy like solar energy, water energy, and wind energy. Secondly, each people need to save energy, like turn off the light or fan before after go out to
After it's used.
AC. People, the last people need to update the technology and use biology like use biology energy. Nowadays, people can contact the energy from the tree, the oil from the tree.
Example for that.
Example for that is the oil from the tree.
Could you give a sentence example for that? Could you give ways? Those are the ways that you've mentioned earlier, that how people can save. Can you give your own example by your own? For example, in our house, my family are using solar energy, and this saves a lot of energy and power inside the house. And for me, I usually turn off the things or equipments inside the house if the things or the equipments aren't used. And I immediately turn off the TV, the computer, right after it. I use these, okay? Simple example is that one. Please give me your example as well. Barry. Should recycling be voluntary or mandatory? Direct answer.
Recycling be
Should.
should be voluntary.
Voluntarily. Should
You didn't answer.
because
You still use because? I told you you need to practice using some of the words. Where is it? Oh, where is it? Can you try?
second we should recycling the voluntary thing voluntary mm,
Because, right? You want to use because? You could use on the grounds that.
the well that recycle is based on the activity of everyone. So I think it's voluntary, reusable, with recycling and
Mary, do you think it is worth trying to recycle?
I think it is worth trying to recycle on the ground that the benefit that recycling like provide us. Like for example, when you try to recycle and have a green lifestyle, it will not just help you like with having like you have a better life, but it also help you reduce your ecological footprint and play a small role in protecting the earth.
Okay, thank you for that, Mary. That was good. How about you, Linda? Is it better to recycle or limit consumption?
For me, it is better to limit the consumption as it can help to tackle the root of the problem. If we use less product, so there are less way to deal with. So, for example, using fewer disposable items or buying things what we really need can reduce the pressure on the environment a lot more than just recycling.
Okay, thank you for that. Alisa, in what ways people can save? In what ways can people save or reuse resources?
If people to save resources by using renewable resources because
Because you're still using those. Okay, just continue.
because renewable resources are sources of fuel that will not run out in the environment to become more clean.
Could you give an example for that?
Like
Is that it? Sandra. Should recycling be voluntary or mandatory? That's why you do not focus just into one question. Everybody, if we have this kind of activity, you do not focus just to one question that I ask you. Because when you take the IELTS exam, we're not just focusing on one topic or whatsoever. We are focusing in the issues that what are updated right now, what's in. So that's why you need to study most of the questions. Do not just focus on one question. Barry, in what ways can people save or reuse resources?
People can save or receive real resources by create a new room to change the habitat of people, like inside waste the energy or put the rubbish in everywhere, so you can set the route and people can recycle to reuse the rubbish. For example, the bottle can make to be plant the tree inside, or the rubbish can reuse to be nutritious for tree in forest. So in other hand, the people can create the automation machine to protect the renewable resources and bring all new resources for in the.
Thank you. Everybody, this question, in what ways? Okay. Do you know what 3R? 3R? What's 3R, Mary? Reduce and recycle. Okay, that's the best way to answer these kind of questions. In what ways can people save or reuse resources? Okay, if we say save, we could say there are so many ways actually for people to save the resources by simply following the 3 R's, which are reduce, reuse, recycle. For reuse, people could reuse people could reduce the consumption or limit the consumption of the use of plastic. Why not people follow the rules of no single use of plastic. There are so many government offices now in the whole wide world who are actually following no single use of plastic, which shows significant effects to the environment itself. The second R, you see that I'm giving example in each of 3 R's. So you can do like that. The second R is reuse. If there are products, on the other hand, or another thing is we use the next R, which is reuse. Reuse the products whenever these products are still useful. Because we have this kind of attitude, whenever these products are actually not good, we just simply dump them and throw them away. So this leads us to recycle. Why not recycle things? Reuse these or give this to people who are in need. Like, for example, there are products or there are things that I don't usually use. Instead of throwing them away, the usual thing that I usually do is give these products or give these things to my younger siblings or to my younger cousins. So they could reuse these products. For example, my trousers, my clothes that I wear. I usually do fast fashion because it's a thing. There are a lot of trendy things that we need to follow. That's why I usually do fast fashion. So in those ways, we could, or I could, or people could save the environment or the resources that we have. Okay, for those answers given by Mary and Linda, those were great. Okay, questions 1 and 3. What's your 3 right? Okay. Everyone, as what I am saying, for speaking, do not just focus on 1, 2, or 3 issues. This is what we're doing right now. We're having different topics because we want you to know the different issues or concerns that the world is actually facing right now. Because most of the questions from speaking and writing are actually the issues that what people are facing right now. This consumption, right? Jack, earlier, I asked Jack what was his question about for speaking. He told me it's about modern and traditional habits. Somehow we have already talked about that, right? Old buildings, modern buildings, it's the same thing. Urban and rural, it's the same thing. That's why you need to focus yourself into this class. It's already time. Goodbye. It's okay.